live here shortly.
Okay, let me share my screen. I don't think it's letting me. Participants.
Oh, really? Okay.
I got it.
Let me try again.
I got it. You
Oh, it's
see it?
working?
You see it?
Oh, wait, hold on. I'll make my volume off of this. Hey, everyone. Okay, let me go back to Zoom. Make sure. Oh, yeah, it looks perfect on here. So I think it's a little bit delayed. So right now on YouTube, I'm seeing that it's just us two, but I think here in 30 seconds, it'll sync up.
Okay.
But it looks good on my end.
Sounds good.
If you guys are tuning in, say hey. Oh, look, there we are. Perfect.
I don't even think I can get on. Can I get on Facebook?
Awesome. All right. We don't have any guests yet, but I know we will here in a minute. So it says we got one person watching. So to whoever that is, welcome.
Welcome.
We'll give them just a few minutes to tune in.
We're a little early, so that's good, despite everything that has happened today.
I'm trying to send a chat in the chat box on YouTube. It's not letting me. That's going to be kind of hard. It says error sending message. Let me try getting out again. Well, if you're here with us, welcome.
Welcome.
I hope everyone's had a good week and is still staying safe. Okay, so for some reason, it looks like I'm not going to be able to be in the chat tonight. Looks like I'm able to view it, but I can't make a comment, and I have no idea why. I just tried to log out of the page and log back in, so that's kind of weird. But that'll be okay as long as I can see the chat. That'll be good.
You see it live? I'm not seeing the live.
Check my settings real quick.
I can't even get it to come up on Facebook. Are you on YouTube or Facebook?
Try now. Still saying error and sending the message. That is pretty strange. I'm hoping that doesn't affect the chat function. That's why we're going to be able to send questions.
Is this through YouTube now or is it still Facebook? Can you hear me, Casey?
All right, got it working. I had to log into, tried 2 different accounts on the third one worked. So always third time's a charm. All righty, so we will go ahead and get started. Kanisha, I'll be happy to let you know. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can now. Sorry about that.
I was talking. I was like, can she hear me? Okay.
Alrighty, so we will go ahead and get started. Kanisha, I'll let you know when we've got people popping in the chat.
Okay, and is this on Facebook or YouTube?
This is on YouTube. However, I did post the link.
Gotcha.
Oh man, got some feedback.
Okay, ready to get started?
Yeah, I'm sorry guys, if y'all are watching, I'm having some technical difficulties. Because I can hear you, but I can hear like our conversation delayed as well. So I'm trying to see what's going on there. All right, so let's go ahead and get started now. I will hand it over to you, Kanisha.
All right, you all. So this is the beginning of the year, and at the beginning of the year, we file taxes. So for those of you who have already done so, this will help you be beneficial for you to do your own taxes or just have a little more information when it comes to other people doing your taxes. So the topic for today is income tax basics. So the objectives are you will have a knowledge of how to prepare for tax filing. You'll understand different tax forms. You'll be able to determine the best way to prepare your taxes. You'll understand tax credits and deductions, and you will recognize ways to maximize your money. So first, let's get started with an explanation of taxes. So as you know, Casey, I like to interact a little bit. So when you think of that taxes, what comes to your mind? Or do you think of anybody? Anything? Anything going on in the chat? Nothing?
Not anything yet. I'm going to type it out so they'll have it. I can answer though. I think of tax returns because I know that if you file for taxes, you get a tax return. And I think of the government using it to do public works for people. So I think of with taxes. I also think about a good amount of money that goes out of my paycheck. Always hard to see, but such is life. It's just part of it.
Yes. Oh, correct. So taxes defined by Investopedia says that they are involuntary fees levied on individuals or corporations and enforced by a government entity, whether local, regional, national, in order to finance government activities. So exactly what you just said. So learning about taxes can be a little tedious, a little boring. So here are a few fun facts for you. The tax code has around 3 million more words than the Bible. Now we know how large the Bible is. So 3 million words, that's a lot, right? There are 7 states that do not pay state income tax, and they are Alaska, Florida, Nevada, South Dakota, Texas, Washington, and Wyoming. The United States uses a marginal tax bracket. So you understand what that means? Marginal tax bracket. So that's like the higher rate applies only to the earnings that fall within the higher bracket.
I did not know that.
Right. Mm-hmm. Interesting. So the top 1% of earners pay 38.8% of all federal individual income tax in 2019. So I like to tell the story about Amazon and how they paid 0 federal taxes for their over $1 billion in sales, like because of the ways of the tax system and knowing how to work the tax system, they ended up paying 0 in taxes. That's crazy, over $1 billion. And here we are, the little people, paying all this money for taxes. Another funny thing that I came to find was that drug dealers pay taxes. So it's crazy, but they are required to pay taxes on their sold drugs, meaning so if they are caught with it in their possession, they will be fined for unpaid taxes on top of punishment for all their other crimes. There are even ways that they can pay anonymously. So they can send in a tax form. They're called drug tax stamps. They can send these in anonymously and pay taxes on their drugs. Now, if you ask me, that sounds like a way to catch people. That's crazy.
That is pretty crazy. I would have had no idea about that. I want to let you know we are getting some activity in the chat. So when you had asked earlier, again, there's quite a bit of delay. So someone says he thinks of stimulus payments when he thinks of filing for taxes. I can relate to that because I didn't get my stimulus.
Oh, no.
And then I realized that it goes in the form of how you get your tax refund, which is a check mailed to my dad's house. So case closed. So I think of that as well. And then he says he thinks of H&R Block as well.
Good things, good things.
And someone says getting her money back. Amen. Those tax returns can be awesome.
Yes. I'm trying to see if okay. So yeah, all good things, all dealing with tax. And like I mentioned earlier, some profitable corporations sometimes pay zero taxes.
And is that legal, or are they finding ways around it?
So there are legal ways to get around filing your taxes. So it's not tax evasion, which is illegal, it's tax avoidance. So at the end of this, I have a few strategies that you may be able to use in order to avoid some taxes. Not a lot, but a few. So before you file,
I just said cool. I would love to know, because if billionaires don't pay taxes, I don't think I should have to either.
Right. You can get around it too. So before you file, there are a few things you need to know. One form that you fill out that has a lot to do with your taxes at the end of the year is the W-4 form. And a lot of you see this when you first start a job, you fill this information out so that they can pull taxes accordingly. With this form, you can increase how much you want withheld. You can decrease how much you want withheld. If you have multiple jobs, there are places to put that information. If you need to make any updates, like if you end up getting dependents, you can put that information on here as well. The more allowances you claim on your form W-4, the less your employer will withhold from your paycheck. The fewer you claim, the more your employer will withhold. If you hold more than one job at a time, or you and your spouse have two jobs that's shown here on step 2, you can fill that out accordingly. And these forms are, if you read through them and go step by step, it's very simple to do. They have simplified the form. So just answer them to the best of your knowledge and you should have everything inputted correctly. If you're eligible for income tax credits, such as the child tax credit or credit for other dependents, that will be done in step 3. If you're eligible for deductions other than the basic standard deduction, and we're going to go over standard deduction and itemized deductions here soon. Deduction for IRA contributions or the deduction for student loan interest, that's done in step 4. Another thing I want you guys to know and take from this is when you file your taxes and you get a refund check, that means that the government has held on to money that they should not have had. Refund checks mean that you paid the government too much money during the year. Ideally, you would like for it to be at 0. So they don't owe you nothing and you don't owe them nothing. Because when you get that refund, that means that they have held that money the whole year without you getting paid any type of interest on it. So be aware of that and try to get as close to 0 as possible. And you don't want to mess up to where you're not paying them anything either, because that'll be bad for you as well. Make sense?
Cool. I'm not seeing activity in the chat. But yeah, so you must be explaining everything crystal clear.
Great.
Good.
I hear that. Okay.
I'm following. If I'm following, you're doing a great job. So
that's good.
Because I'll ask questions if I have them. I got some I'm going to save for the end.
Okay.
But yeah.
Sounds good. Okay, so the records that you keep throughout the year will include your prior year tax returns. I've had people, because I've completed some tax returns for people before, they complete it and just toss the information. And then when they need to file their taxes the next year, they want to change and do it through TurboTax or go through a different service. They don't have this information and it makes them harder, the process harder to file for the next year. So make sure you keep your prior year returns, at least keep 3 years worth, keep them in a secure place because they do have your social security number on there and you don't want that information again to the wrong hands, but keep your records. Keep all tax documents. If you pay any type of interest for your mortgage or student loans, any charitable donations you have made, contributions to tax-deferred retirement accounts, homebuyer tax credits, child care and education costs, keep those receipts, and medical costs receipts, keep those as well for when you're getting ready to prepare your taxes at the end of the year. Again, also keep these things at least 3 years because you never know when a random audit will occur. It's not like they usually pick these people at random unless there's just some totally big red flag. So in order to protect yourself, keep your information on hand. Do not just disclose of it. Keep it, but keep it in a safe place to where random people cannot get to it. So there are different tax forms. The 1040 is the standard IRS form that individual taxpayers use to file their annual income tax returns. Your W-2, everybody knows what the W-2 is. That's your wage and tax statement from your job. You wait on that so that you can go and file your taxes. You have a 1099, that's income outside of regular salary. So that can be investments, bank interest, freelance work that you may do. You have a 1098, which is mortgage interest if you ever buy a home. How did this happen?
Cool. I'm sorry. I do not want to interrupt.
Okay.
We got some chat activity. Michael wanted to let you know that she did just answer your question. He had put in the chat, is it normal to fill out a W-2 and a W-4? I kind of waited because I knew you were going to touch on that. So yeah, just want to let you know, Michael, that she has answered your question.
Okay.
And it was a very good question as well.
Right. So you fill out the W-4, your employer provides you with a W-2. Your W-2 is all the money that you have made from that employer that year. So you're not filling that out. That's the form that you're going to give your tax preparer or use whenever you're filing your taxes. Your W-4 is what you fill out for your deductions, credits, or any allowances that you may have. Okay? All right. So the 1098-T is the tuition statement that reports tuition expenses, enrollment, and course materials. You have a 1098-E, and that's student loan interest. And then you have an 8962, which is used to calculate the amount of premium tax credit you're eligible to claim if you pay premiums for health insurance purchased through the health insurance marketplace. So that's if you have a job and you don't have a health insurance through them and you choose to do it through the marketplace, you're going to be provided with the form 8962 that you're going to put on use for your tax information when you file today. So everything good there? Everybody got it?
Looks good. So I'm kind of watching alongside on my phone as well. And it like just now switched to the screen that we're on right now. So the delay is like a couple minutes or so. So it's quite a bit. So I'm sure the chat's gonna get more active, but just want to let you know.
Okay. So if anything comes up, just stop me.
All right, perfect. I will keep everybody updated.
Okay, because I don't think we want just a long pause.
Yes, for sure.
Okay. Okay, so now we come to filing your taxes. Tax day is usually April 15th. Estimated taxes are due. So these are for people who have companies or small businesses. They have to pay taxes quarterly. So July 15th, September 3rd, January 15th. After you file, please keep your tax documents, as I stated earlier, for at least 3 years. So some of the tax services that are available, before you figure out what services you want to use, make sure that you check the preparer's qualifications. So if you go to a tax service that you see down the street, make sure that you know their qualifications, make sure that you check their history, ask about their service fees, if they have any type of hidden fees, ask about all the fees that they may have. Ask to e-file, because e-filing gets you your refund the quickest. It takes about 21 days for you to receive your refund when you e-file. Always review everything before you sign it. You do not want to find mistakes later that you need to correct, because that's going to delay you getting your refund if you receive a refund. Ensure the preparer signs and includes their PTIN. So their PTIN is like an identification number for people who prepare taxes. Once they put that on there, if anything goes wrong with your taxes and they prepared them for you, that the IRS can go after that person, get information from that person. So it helps protect you. If they are found doing anything harmful, you'll be able to find out about it. So it's a good way to know if they have a PTIN, that they are doing what they're supposed to do and know what they're doing. And always report abusive tax preparers to the IRS so that they'll know what's going on. Avoid preparers who base fees on a percentage of the refund or who boast about getting you your bigger refunds than the competition. Because at the end of the day, they all put the same information into a program software and it shoots out the numbers. Unless they're doing something fraudulent, the numbers should not be different. Like if you have one W-2 and that information is put into the software, it should give you the same numbers across the board. So if they're talking about, oh, I can get you a bigger refund in that, something is wrong there, avoid it. Also, like I said earlier, review before signing. With this whole pandemic, there were issues with people who filed their taxes. And like you said earlier, Casey, you didn't know that it was going to pay out in the same way that your refund paid out, and that was by a check. With people that went to these janky preparers, those preparers actually put their account information on the end of the tax return. So instead of the stimulus checks going to those individual people, they went to those tax preparers, and they had to work that out if they were ever able to work that out. So make sure you just read over everything, make sure everything is fine, and make sure it's done correctly. Are we
Perfect.
good?
Perfect. So I got some questions. Someone says, does anyone know when W-2s come out?
So W-2s have to be sent out by the end of January. So by January 30th. So if they're going to be mailed to you, then they'll be mailed to you by then. I know with one of mine, I'm not going to receive it electronically until February 1st. So around January, early February is when you're going to receive those.
Okay. Now for us in Immerse, does someone do that for us? Because I don't know the last time I sent out my W-2. Oh wait, no, never mind. My uncle's a CPA, so he's the one who helps me with that. Never mind.
And you should have, I received mine from Immerse, so you should receive yours by now.
Yeah. I think, yeah, that was taken care of a while back. I just had forgotten.
Okay. No worries.
So another question we got is, what if you're a non-filer? What is that process to start? So Michael, because of the delay, we might need you to specify what you mean by starting, or maybe Kanisha, you've got an idea of what he means.
So maybe that he has never filed before.
Yes, it's possible. So Michael, Michael, let us know specifically what you're talking about. Because of the delay, we might have moved on and you might be talking about something different. So just let us know.
So there are several things. If he's young and he's never filed before, this is his first time, just make sure you have your W-2. If you have any other type of work that you may have done, contract work, you may be receiving a 1099 or something. So just look out and know everything that you should be receiving for the income that you made during that year. Usually with young people, like teenagers who have jobs, if you don't file your taxes, it's cool because you more than likely do not owe any money, but they may owe you money more than likely, and you have up to 3 years to file your taxes in order to get money back that you have not claimed. After that, you can't go back and get it.
Okay, perfect. And he just says, she just answered my question. So you were right on, Kanisha. That's what he's talking about. So perfect.
Great. Sounds good. Okay. Now, if you owe the IRS money and you have not filed every month or so that you owe, you will be penalized for it. So, but like I said, if you're a teenager, more than likely you're being carried by your parents, you're a dependent, so you don't have to worry about that anyway. So there's different tax software out there. You can select the different programs. There's a desktop, online versions. You have basic, deluxe, premium. There are different fees that come with each packet or which one you might choose. More than likely, if you're young, you just have one job and all you have to worry about is a W-2 form, then you need to do the basic of the basic and the free so that you don't have to pay more than what you really need to. Look at the services that they provide. I've worked for TurboTax before, and they offer live CPA. So someone will come over the computer and talk to you as you're filing your taxes and help you through the process. So look at the different services they provide and see what services do you like or what fits you. TurboTax has an online software system. H&R Block has one, and TaxAct. If you go to irs.gov, I believe it's .gov. If you go to irs.gov and search for file taxes for free, they will pop up a list. And based on different credentials, you have to make below a certain amount of income and have certain forms that are used. So if you just have a W-2 and you make below a certain amount of income, you can file for free. I know H&R Block, not H&R Block, but TurboTax, TaxSlayer, I believe is through the IRS. So you can just go there and it will be free using systems that people use to pay for. And again, just go to irs.gov, type in the search bar, file for free, and it'll pop up for you.
Awesome.
Okay, so now we're gonna discuss deduction. So a lot of times you hear about standard deduction, itemized deduction. So I'm going to explain a little bit about what those actually are. So the standard deduction is the portion of income not subject to tax that can be used to reduce your tax bill. The amount is based on your filing status, age, and whether you are disabled or claimed as a dependent on someone else's tax return. So it's a set dollar amount that can be deducted. Depends on your filing status. For 2021, no, for 2020, we're filing for 2020. So if you're married, filing jointly, that's $24,800 is the standard deduction. If you're married, filing separately or single, $12,400 is the standard deduction. If you're head of household, $18,650 is the standard deduction. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that was still correct. Yep, them are still correct. So again, it's a set dollar amount that can be deducted. Itemized deduction is an expenditure on eligible products, services, or contributions that can be subtracted from adjusted gross income to reduce your tax bill, such as deductions permit taxpayers who qualify to potentially pay less in taxes than if they opted to take the standard deduction. So in order for you to take the itemized deduction, all of your deductions must total to more than what the standard deduction is. So we're gonna go into what can be deductible. If you need to know what AGI is, that's your adjusted gross income, and it's a measure of income calculated from your gross income and used to determine how much of your income is taxable. So some of the deductions, what's deductible is mortgage interest paid when you have a home, qualifying charitable contributions, property taxes paid, medical and dental expenses, state and local income taxes, investment interest expenses, casualty losses. So when you have all these, if you say you have medical bills and you have other things, in order to take that itemized deduction, it must be more than the standard deduction. So we said the standard deduction for single people was around 12,400. All your deductibles must equate to more than 12,400 in order for you to itemize. Otherwise, don't even worry about those medical bills. Don't worry about charitable giving because it's not going to matter and you'll have to take the standard deduction. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Excuse me as I plug in my computer. Just said my battery's running low. So we're just gonna go ahead and do that. Don't mind me.
No worries. Okay, so now an explanation of credits. So a tax credit is an amount of money that taxpayers can subtract from taxes owed to their government. Unlike deductions and exemptions, which reduce the amount of taxable income, tax credits reduce the amount of tax owed. So it's dollar for dollar of your tax liability. So once they have determined this is how much you owe in taxes, tax credits come in and are subtracted from that. And they can be non-refundable or refundable. So non-refundable means they will take the tax liability to zero, but they will not give you any type of refund. The non-refundable credits are the Child Independent Care Tax Credit, Lifetime Learning Credit for those who are in college or university, Retirement Savings Contribution Credit, Residential Energy Efficient Property Credit. So that's for people that get like solar panels put on their homes, Qualified Adoption Expense Credit. And then we have refundable credits, which mean they will go past zero. So they will provide you with a refund. They put money into your pocket. If your tax liability gets down to zero, you can get these and put money back into your pocket. And that's the Earned Income Tax Credit, the American Opportunity Tax Credit, Health Coverage Tax Credit, and the credit for tax on undistributed capital gains. So that's with your investments, bonds, and things like that. Makes sense? Questions?
Yes, ma'am. I don't see any questions in the chat, and I don't have any right now. I'm saving some for the end.
Okay, so a few tax strategies. So like you were saying, how are these people getting away with not paying taxes? They are reading this big book of taxes that's more than 3 million words in the Bible. So some tax advantage, you got tax advantage tax shelters. So when you're working for a company, if they offer a flexible spending account or a health savings account with your insurance payments, so FSA, a flexible spending account, allows you to contribute a portion of your regular earnings to pay for qualified expenses related to medical and dental costs set by employers by the employee. And an HSA, so health savings account, I got that wrote out wrong, is like a personal savings account, but it can only be used for qualified healthcare expenses. To be eligible, you must be enrolled in a high deductible health plan. So again, you're working full-time for an employer, you have a health plan. These are tax shelters, and what they do is money is going to be taken out of your check that you're making each month before taxes. So when you go to file your taxes, that money does not get included in your taxable income. So it's like you never even made as much money as you really did. So because it's hidden over here, if that makes sense. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I love learning about FSA and HSA because Immerse is going to be offering one of those benefits soon, and my parents have a health savings account, so it's very, very interesting.
Yeah, pretty cool. Definitely beneficial.
Yeah.
Do you have your defined contribution retirement plan? So that's funded primarily by the employee. Employers may make matching contributions like with a 401k. You can also do a traditional IRA, and a traditional IRA is an individual retirement account. Once you do money over there, that's before tax income, so it doesn't get taxed. It's not calculated in your taxable income. Looks like you made less money, can put you in a lower tax bracket, possibly. So that's one way to
very interesting.
Lower your tax liability. Another way is to avoid penalties. Like I said, paying your taxes at a later time after they are due. You can get a failure to file, failure to pay proper estimated tax. So the failure to pay proper estimated tax is if you fill out that W-4, you don't pay the government anything throughout the year, and you owe them more than $1,000 once you file your taxes, they charge you a fee for that. They charge you a fee for that. If you owe $1,250 or more, they charge you 2% amount of the payment that you are required to pay. Dishonored check. So if you decide to pay the IRS with a check and you really don't have any money in the bank, you're going to pay a fee for that. So just avoid penalties at all costs. Always try to avoid fees if you can. This is one that you could probably think about for the future. If you have a home business, that's a good way to get around paying some taxes. So as long as the business is ran with the intent to make a profit, you have an exclusive office space. So that means your office space cannot be the same as your bedroom. So this is my bedroom. I cannot say that this is my office space and get that credit on my taxes. It must be your primary place of business. You can hire family members. So one cool thing that I see about that is, okay, you're paying your kids allowances and things like that. You can say that their allowance is their income, and you can write this on your taxes. So this is an expense for your business. So it's helping and looking like you made less money or you didn't make as much money as it's showing, really, because you're paying your employees, which are your children. You can deduct your home expenses. So if you live in an apartment, you can deduct the rent expenses. If you're paying a mortgage, you can deduct some of the mortgage. It's not the entire amount. It's based off the square footage of the room that you're using for the actual business, but still that is something off of your normal payment. You can deduct internet and phone bills for the time that is used to do your business, deduct education and subscriptions when it's used towards training yourself for whatever your business is involving, and you can deduct vehicle use. So if you have a logo put on your car, you can deduct the mileage that you're inputting on the car when you file your taxes. Makes sense? That's pretty cool, right? So,
yeah, that is pretty cool. Let's all go start our own business.
Right, exactly. Some type of business, but remember, it has to be an attempt to make a profit.
Yeah, for sure. Not seeing anything in the chat. So yeah, we can proceed.
Keep it moving. All right. So if you do all this and you do receive a refund, make sure to use it responsibly. I know a lot of people may want to go splurge and you think, oh, I got all this money at one time, this lump sum, let's go, I'm balling, let's spend it. No, like think about it. Do some things responsible with it. So pay off or pay down some of your debt. Pay expenses in advance. If you have rent, you can pay your rent up for a month or two if you have extra cash to do so. Save at least 10%. Pay yourself first because you matter. You're paying everybody else anyway, so pay yourself first. Save some. Invest what you can if you're not afraid to lose it. So this is for people who are 18 and older and can open an investment account. Invest some of that money so that it can bring you back some type of increase. Now, it's not guaranteed, but it's the risk that you have to take. It beats going out spending on something that's not an asset, which is not going of value, which is not does not have the potential to bring you something in return. Make donations, give. Be nice, give it out. It makes you feel good when you give things to other people and you can be helpful to somebody else. And take a course, learn something new, learn some new information, spend it on that. And last but not least, certainly not least, enjoy it. So if you do have money left over, take a little vacation, go get a little mani-pedi, like get your hair done, do something, enjoy it. You only have one life to live, just don't splurge, okay? So that is all for today. Any questions? Hey,
awesome. I did want to mention a comment we got. One of our youth said that his mom started his own business. Mm-hmm. So she could be anticipating some benefits there. I got a question because I have seen this all too many times. Mm-hmm. What do you do if someone else uses your name to file for taxes?
See, that's a difficult process. If somebody else uses your name to file taxes, so they're they're doing tax fraud, it's going to be a process. It's not a simple answer to it. You may have to get a lawyer because you're going to have to prove that this was done incorrectly, that it had nothing to do with you. You may have to go to court. It's going to be a lot. So just always protect your information. Make sure that nobody is seeing your social security number and do not have access to that. I know in some cases you can avoid it because it may be a parent or a family member that got that information. It's going to take a process to make things get them fixed. I saw a lot of issues where divorced couples, one parent was supposed to carry the kid, but the other parent decided to do it and they both tried to do it and it came back wrong. You're going to have to go to court and get those things fixed out, worked out, and work with the IRS.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, it's probably not an easy process. Probably got to get authorities involved, and it's not fun. But what can we be doing to prevent that? Just holding on to our information, making sure you know who's got it.
Making sure you know who has your information. Don't give your information out. Your social security number is private information. Nobody should see that. Do not carry it in your wallet. Don't carry it in your wallet. If your wallet gets stolen, then
Or if you lose it,
they have your social security card, your driver's license, debit card. They have all your information. Put your social security card in a private place where nobody can find it. If you can, you might even want to get like a little safe deposit box at a bank, and the cheapest one to hide your personal records in. But do not share that information with people, because once they get a hold of it, it takes a lot to undo things that other people mess over.
gotcha. Well, that is good information. Yeah, that's a life skill right there, is be careful with your social security card and other identifying information that people, as bad as it is and as much as it sucks, can and might use against you. That's important for sure. So thanks
Right.
for reminding us.
Yeah.
I don't see any other questions. Did you have any final thoughts, Miss Kanisha?
Nope, I just hope you all paid attention. Even if you don't decide to file your own taxes, this is some information so you can know what other people are doing, because you need to know as well. You need to be informed. Can't trust everybody. I feel like that's a lot of people's problems. We trust people, trust the wrong people because they look trustworthy and they mess us over. So pay attention, know your stuff.
Perfect. I love it. All right. Someone said I'm here late. What did I miss? Okay, that's funny. They said they were kidding. No, but seriously, even though we're live right now, all these videos that we do live go into the archive, which means that you can access them and rewatch them at any point. So there were a lot of words in this one, and I know sometimes it can be hard to keep up. So if at any point y'all ever want to go back and watch this and be able to pause at your own pace and listen over and over again, y'all feel free to do that. I'm going to be transparent. I would probably have to. So, because sometimes that processing speed is not 100%, right? That's okay. So just so you guys know, we keep all these and you're able to go back and rewatch them as much as you need to. So I know that they were joking, but it's true. Y'all can access this later. But I'm actually not seeing anything else. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap us up if you're good, Miss Kanisha.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, thanks to you guys who joined. We had 7 tonight. That's the biggest crowd I've seen in a while. So let's go. That's awesome. I hope to see you guys next week. And until then, y'all stay safe. COVID is still out and trying to get us. So y'all be safe. Wash your hands. Wear your mask. You know the drill. Unfortunately, it's old news at this point. But you guys stay safe. We'll catch you next week. Okay?
See you later. Thanks for